I'm coming. Oh, God, you didn't think you were going to be here till then. God, I'm coming. Oh, I, I obviously didn't expect it to be you. Clearly, I'm going to get changed and be right back.
Oh, screw the Transformers. The best toys are at the bottom of the toy box. Grab your nuts and bolts and join us as we discuss the best toys of the 70s, 80s, and 90s. I'm Screwhead.
And I'm Avon Fox.
And tonight we're talking the Rocklords. what? Tonight we're talking about Rocklords.
Lords. That'll make sense later. Yeah.
Where do we start with this one? I mean, I want to be careful because I absolutely love Rocklords. They are by far one of the top 5 favorite toy lines from the 80s. I love this toy line. I know I'm in the minority there, but Rocklords are just amazing in my book.
I think they were really popular, and I think we can't underplay the popularity of things like Pet Rocks in the 70s and early 80s. And rocks were cool. I mean, you'd get like, what's the word? Scientific America and things like that did whole exposés on minerals, because minerals were cool, and, everything was like new, and we didn't have internet porn at that point. And all of a sudden, Rocklords.
I was like, rocks were never cool.
Rocks were cool.
But I know where you're going with that. To a
when
kid,
you're a kid, right? Yeah, like
you want to rock, right?
Find gold.
Everybody wants to rock. To go back to really understand the origins of Rocklords, you got to go back to Japan. You got to go way back to the Machine Robo line, which introduced us to some characters that would later become the U.S. Rocklords. You got a little background on that, sir?
I'm going to pinch through my notes because I'm tired. I have just got up. Yes, they're a weird line. Bandai did a heap of strange lines like Metal Joe, which were little locks, like padlocks, turned into robots. And it kind of seems like they'd come up with this idea to do a transforming rock line. And right about the same time, Ashi Productions got in contact and said, hey, we'd like to make a cartoon based on a whole heap of your existing Machine Robo GoBots. And it looks very much like Bandai just kind of rolled these Rocklords into that show. I don't think they were created for that show. It doesn't look like it, looking at the timeline. The show's called Machine Robo Revenge of Kronos.
Kronos.
Kronos, which is the name of the planet.
Mm-hmm.
It's really convoluted. They are called, I'm going to say it wrong, but Gun-6 Chodgen, which is, in English, it's written badly as Genski Chodjing, but Gun-6 Chodgen. Gun-6 Chodgen, I'm going to go with that, which basically means superhuman rockmen. Superhuman rockman!
That doesn't roll off the tongue like Rocklords.
No, it doesn't. Yeah. It probably does in Japan. The basic story for them, which is printed on their little booklet, is that lightning, godlike power, struck the ground a heap of times, and it went bubble, 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 and all of a sudden, rock men emerged, and they start fighting. That's it.
Well, who were they fighting? Were they fighting each other in the Japanese?
Oh, yeah, each other. Yeah, each other.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And what were the Machine Robo doing?
In the little book. Well, this is where it gets messy, because Machine Robo Revenge of Kronos departs a bit from the original lore for Machine Robo. So you've got, on the planet Kronos, you've got Battle Tribe, Jet Tribe, Rock People, Rock Tribe, a whole bunch of Tribe, and then you've got the main sort of humanoid-looking robot characters, which are actually aliens, don't even come from there anyway. Anyway, let's just call them Rocklords, shall we?
So they went from what was it? Kronos, Attack on Kronos?
Revenge of Kronos.
Right.
Which makes no sense because Kronos wasn't doing any revenging, it was a planet.
So they went from Revenge of Kronos to Battle Hackers, and the Rocklords went with them, although it was really just the combiner Fossilsaurus.
Yeah, which were the ancient fossil men or something. Yeah.
Right. And so in the lore of Revenge of Kronos, the Rocklords weren't like individual. Not all of them were individual Rocklords. They were like races. So there was like a bunch of boulders, a bunch of magmars, a bunch of all the different.
I don't remember about if there's a bunch of magmars, but I do remember seeing a bunch of boulders. They were just the rock people, the rock tribe.
Right.
And definitely not the same way that it was marketed in the West, where there's one of each one and they're all individuals. Let's put it that way.
Right. So it was kind of like
they also all don't
cannon
appear.
fodder.
Pretty much, yeah. The very first time you see them, the main female robot alien lady gets picked up by them, and you think that they're going to do something bad to her, but they're actually helping her. Long story short, there's a whole heap of them in that whole heap of boulders in that scene.
So
there you go.
Fast forward, Tonka's gotten their hands on the Machine Robo license.
And I imagine it was pretty much a parallel. Looking at the dates when they came out, I think it was probably pretty much a parallel distribution. They would have planned that before. It wasn't so much like Machine Robo, the 600 series that started in Japan and then moved to Tonka about a year in. I think it was probably a parallel distribution.
So they got over, and they've got these weird rocks that they turn into robots, and they're sitting there going, all right, so what do we do with these? Or was there any talk ever of them going into the main GoBots line, or were they always going to be a separate line? Have you heard anything about that?
Well, they are in the GoBots line in Europe. I was going to bring this out for the other episode, but whatever. Rocklords?
GoBots. So, but was that distributed by Tonka or Bandai?
This is by Bandai. But it rolls into that Robo Machine, a GoBots product. GoBots, a Robo Machine product marketing they did. So it was a bit of a mess, to be honest. So yes, it was part of GoBots. They are canon for GoBots, and I guess the film as well obviously brings them into the GoBots.
Well, why did they have different packaging then? Why were they completely different branding and completely different naming convention than GoBots? I mean, they're Rocklords. There's nothing about the package
in the US.
GoBots product. Yeah, the US. In the US.
I don't know. Marketing, I guess.
Interesting.
GoBots, I guess by 1986, GoBots was probably petering out. Bandai had already said, we're not going to do any more Machine Robo 600 series, so sorry, there's no more toys. And I guess rather than maybe tacking some new toys that they'd hoped to get 15, 20 figures out of onto what was already a flagging line and getting trounced by Transformers by that point.
Right.
Maybe something fresh because Masters of the Universe had come out, obviously before that significantly. These are slightly bigger figures, and they definitely aren't in the same scale as GoBots or anything like that. So I think just they look different. I mean, this is the thing I think about Bandai as well. They just made these toys and went, Machine Robo's doing okay. Let's just put it under that banner. Why not? And they did that with a few other things as well. You know, there's a whole the big track thing with all the wheels and the Battle Flex they did and things like that. There was just a toy they had and went, well, this brand is doing well. And I imagine Tonka probably went, well, this brand isn't doing so well. Oh, sorry, this product line isn't doing so well. We're gonna grandfather that.
We're gonna rebrand it. Here they come. They made their debut in 1986, correct?
Yep.
And
in the West and in Japan and everywhere.
And that was the same year that Rocklords debuted in theaters here in the United States. I think it was called Challenge of the Rocklords, Challenge of the GoBots, Battle of the Rocklords.
Battle of the Rocklords, yeah.
Yeah.
And we had Machine Men Battle of the Rocklords.
So it was called Challenge of the GoBots, Battle of the Rocklords. Made its debut 1986 in U.S. theaters, and like 8 people saw it.
One of them blinded themselves during it.
I was one of like 3 kids in the theater at the time. It was the Regal Cinemas, or it might have been something else at that point. Who cares? But here we go. You know, we have collected GoBots. We had just seen the Rocklords on the shelves at the Pick and Save. And we had picked one of them up, and we thought, oh my gosh, we have got to see Rocklords, the movie, when it comes out. And there we were sitting in theaters. I personally love Challenge of the GoBots Battle of the Rocklords, the longest, most complex, and stupid name of all time. I mean, it's so. I mean, the story on it is pretty cheesy. It is interesting because it's the debut of Gobotron. They're building their planet Gobotron in the beginning of it. Not at all a nod to Cybertron. We're not going to worry about that. But they're building a planet Gobotron.
Doesn't that feature in the main cartoon though as well, or is this going back?
It does.
Adding some history. Okay, right. Yeah,
this is adding to the history. They're building the planet, right? And here comes the Rocklords, and of course, like an asteroid, and it's Solitaire and Nugget, and they get out and they're like, "Help us, GoBots! You know, our planet's in trouble. They're trying to, do stuff." And so the Rocklords, of course, team up with the GoBots, the Guardians, and the bad Rocklords under Magmar team up with the Renegades, and then it's just kind of a pretty standard, they're trying to get the swords and stop the bad guys, and there's some pretty brutal parts where they're just like straight murdering Rocklords.
The few bits I've looked at it really gave me that thought of, well, I guess they're rocks. They're not people. We can just break them apart. That's okay for TV, for kids. That's totally fine. It's like if they're robot people, that's fine. Just tear an arm off. As long as there's a few sparks, it's fine.
And they never really use the transformation for anything other than they just like turn into rocks and they just start rolling away. So I mean, it's kind of like you could tell the animators got this and they were like, well, what are we supposed to do with rocks? And they're like, I don't know, make them roll. And so, I think there's a few parts where they like turn in it to stop lava or some sort of thing. But
is there a launcher for them? No, not at all.
No, they just kind of, they're like the GoBots transform and then they turn into rocks.
They just get smaller.
And then they just roll away. I mean, it was just kind of, there's a whole origin story as to where they came from, that they're like, they're actual, like, they're not robots. They're like, well, sort of they are, but they're like natives of this planet.
Little bit of audio insert. Are they robots? Technically, yes. In the Revenge of Kronos cartoon, Magmar, aka Devil Rock, gets his leg chopped open, and you can see inside there's circuitry and robot-y parts in there. Does it line up with what Tonka did, saying they are living rocks? Yeah. I mean, in the Transformers universe, they are living machines, so I guess they can be living rocks and robots at the same time. It's up to you. Back to the show.
The Gnarlies make their debut, and of course they're obnoxious and annoying as all get out.
Yeah.
But I mean, really, the movie's pretty. I mean, go watch it. I'm not going to give you the plot. This is not, movie review night.
Spoilers. It's only 40 years old.
Only 40. Good luck finding it. But I mean, it was fun. Battle of the Rocklords comes out, fails at the theaters, I mean, epically, but then they've still got the Rocklords out there. And here comes my 1986 6-year-old self, pick and save, and there on the shelves is sitting this glorious packaging with the monster on top, breathing lava out of his mouth, and the Rocklords. I mean,
what more do you want?
There he is, powerful
it's
living
red.
rocks.
Yeah.
He's gray, and he's got, he looks like a monster, and on the back it's got the file card, got the
I think the cards are excellent.
Oh, yeah. And it's got the little characters there, and I'm just like, instant fall in love with these characters. And then I take it home, and for the age, you got to figure, like, 1986, we had Transformers and we had GoBots, right? Yeah. And those two toy lines were, I mean, for the most part, they were like, they were cars that turned into bricks with arms that went like this. You know what I mean? Like, more or less.
Yeah, apart from the premium ones, there was a bit of that.
Right. And even some of the premium ones were not that fantastic. And then he's not Marvel Legends quality posability, but I mean, more posability than any other figure we've had. And for the most part, they were all like that. I mean, just solid.
Series 1 and 2, and I agree. I think the mode change did lend to it, but I think also Bandai planned it very well. So you would end up with a mode change that left you with an action figure versus a lot of the G1 Transformers where, for example, you side swipe, the legs just come down and they are it's still a monopod. His legs don't move at all. It looks great. Don't get me wrong. I think they're fantastic. But this is an action figure.
Yes.
You know, he
This is
could be a rock and kick a rock.
Mm-hmm. And they were all, I mean, the first series, maybe 2 series, were very much like that. I mean, and the color deco that they chose with the kind of mixed paint and the
that mottled
fine details.
That sort of swirled paint is fantastic. There's a couple of examples, like Tombstone, for example. Like his arms don't go backwards and forwards. His legs are really articulated. You can go all over the place. But, and out, he's just a bit stiff. There's a few examples where they don't, but most of them have really good shoulder, elbow, and so on. Yeah, no, I think they're great.
I mean, anything. This was. I mean, you brought up Tombstone as an example, but Tombstone could do the Karate Kid, and that's all that matters.
He could, yeah, he does. Yeah, mine's a bit stiff, but yeah,
you know what I'm saying. They can do the Karate Kid. The arms might not need to move, but when you're a 6-year-old kid, if they could do, I mean, then you're.
you pulled out my example because when he's in rock mode, he looks like a rock with ball bag. Just gonna say it.
Yep. I mean, we're not. Yeah, that was a Japanese thing that they didn't fix when they brought it to America. But do we want to have a discussion as to why there's so many things that look like testicles that come out of Japan?
Probably not. Probably not.
Let's leave it at there is a reason why they did this. You should probably Google it if you want to find out that information.
Let's go with it's cultural.
It's cultural. That's right.
It's cultural. Read a book. All right.
So we have this super, and I mean super. The decals are good, or the paint schema is good. The posability is good. They're nice, solid, freaking things, and they turn into a rock.
And there's no die cast in them, which is, or maybe there is in some of the little chromey ones, but yes, there is in some of the chrome ones. But which is always a deal breaker for me when I want to put things in top tier because I love me some die cast. But they are solid. Like the amount of toys that are made, Sky Racer, to throw into the air and to be a rock and roll along the ground at your other toys and bash them all over, they're solid.
On the back of the original Rocklords, it looks like they're prototype figures, but
because
I mean, didn't Japan already have them released? Or
no? I think because they came out almost as a parallel distribution. I think that the time it took to do marketing, to make card backs, photograph development, and all that rubbish. A lot of the stuff you'll see for Machine Robo, for GoBots, for whatever, are prototypes. And if you look at the card back photos, they're almost all prototypes. They're different colours. They are clearly hand-painted. There's a Machine Man, I think also Robo Machine, double fold in the comic that has all prototypes. Every part of it they're all just hand-painted, completely different characters. I'm just see if it's in this. It is. It's right here. Because if you hold up Pulverize, you had there. Didn't you have Pulverize? Mm-hmm. No, you had what's his face? Granite.
I have Granite,
he's a different colour. So he's got brown. Yeah, so that's him there. So he's got brown hands. It's a completely different colour. That's clearly just got gold leaf rubbed onto it. That's gold paint, which is fine, I guess. I mean, this dude is supposed to be. He's a tan colour, so he's black.
Oh, look at that Pulverize. He's awesome.
Yeah, they're all different. That's Brimstone. Mm-hmm. I'll put this up on the screen so people can actually see. Here's the red one.
I have to check. I don't know that they're... Oh my gosh. Hold on. I just looked at the cover of this.
Yeah.
And I realized that it has Boulder and Magmar's face.
Yeah.
I've never noticed that before, just now.
I've scanned a lot of them, and I must admit I did notice when I was scanning them. I didn't notice before that.
I literally was like, whoa! Anyway, so the Rocklords Series 1 in the US was... Go.
Magma, Boulder, Nugget, Granite, and Rocket. Sans Pulverize? Was he Series 2? I can't remember. One of them. Possibly them. I'd have to actually look. I can't remember. I can remember Series 1 and Series 2 as a block. I don't remember them individually. I can't remember if I can just remember the Japanese names. I think that's it. There was only 6 in the first series.
Yes,
I think.
And Series
Shall
2
I look?
was...
Shall I actually look so I can answer the question?
Yeah. I know Series 2 was Saberstone, right? Or was that Series 3?
Nah, Series 3.
Ah.
So this is where it gets weird. It gets weird. We should talk about packaging as well, because I've gone to all this effort of changing my background so that I have packaging to show you. Oh, I was so wrong. Okay, Series 1. Thankfully, I found a website that has them on it. Was Boulder, Nugget, Granite, Magma, Tombstone.
For all your hot Rocklord needs. The Liberator.
and Sticks and Stones was Series 1. Tombstone, Geiger Rock. Come on,
so much better. So, Geiger Rock. The U.S. had this wonderful packaging, which I'm sure Avon is going to try to convince me that other places had better packaging. He is wrong.
Look, I really like the card. I really like the card backs. And blister cards. The thing that sucks about blister cards, obviously, they get torn off, and it's a shame. I actually really like the Rocklords packaging. I'm always like, oh no, I go with the Japanese boxes because they're boxes and they're cool and they're stacked nice and blah blah blah. But I do like the Rocklords packaging. Where is he? Oh, he's here somewhere, probably. There we go.
There's Granite in the Japanese machine robo.
He's actually not. I took him out, but he would be in there. European and Japanese packaging. And Australian packaging. This one. Come on. Look how nice that is. It's hand-painted. Rock. It's in a box. It's in a backwards box. So they hang this way and it's all nice and flat on the front in the shelf. All your crap hangs off the back. They stand up. The first series ones, I've got one somewhere, hang on. This is the second series release, I think. Someone's going to correct me. But the first series ones have a shaped, die-cut rock outer. Then the second time they released them, they're just a flat edge. And then they did them without an insert, without a coloured insert, and then with the brown insert, and then the same figure again with a white insert, because, why not? Because it's just bother me in the future. Anyway. This is nice. Nice thing.
I mean, my beef with them is they suck. And they don't even have a good logo. The logo's just bad. I mean, I would not have looked at that as a kid and been excited about it. I would have looked at that and been like, all right, so it's dirt. Okay, great. But lava?
Lava? Rocks. What do you think lava's made from? This is primordial lava.
I think lava's made from lava.
So what?
So Series 1 also had a weird oddity attached to it, which we can't not speak of. That was not in Japan. And for some reason, Tonka decided to make them, and that's the stupid gnarlies.
Oh, I thought we were doing them as part of part 2. Yes, the gnarlies.
Which we will cover as part 2. But I don't want anybody to think that we're purposely skipping over these horrible things. We are not. We'll come back to them. But Series 1, done. Series 2 was who?
Series 2 was Pulverize, Marbles, Crackpot, not Crossrock. Crossrock in Japan because his face is a cross. Stoneheart, Slimestone, and Brimstone. And to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if they were all designed at the same time and they just released them in 2 waves. They are very similar in construction. Bandai tends to sort of they do a lot of figures and then they test the market to see if it's going to work. And then you can sort of look at like Series 2 GoBots, later machine robos, and then Series 3, and you can see that they've changed how they've done things a little bit, whereas these are all very similar. They could literally have been released at the same time. I mean, you can't tell me that Nugget and Slimestone weren't designed at the same time. Well, you can, but I won't believe you. I imagine it was just not to saturate the market. I mean, if you put them all in one hit, then you sort of lose that 2 Christmases worth of releases, or Christmas and then next school holidays worth of releases. So I think it's probably a planned release schedule for those 2.
Rock shows, rocks that come alive, rock.
Yeah, and the weapons, like this, what's his name's Tombstone's weapon is I can't even remember what it's called. There's something scythe, but in Japan it's atomic death. You can't even see that; it's so small. Hang on, give me a sec. I'll just zoom it. Wait, atomic death fork. No! That was just an excuse for an oversized novelty prop. Atomic death fork. Anyway, it looks like that. And it's got a great name.
Oh, you're making one of those and sending it to me.
You can have this one if you want.